hand.
Yeah.
Are you expecting the rules and regulations to get stiffer for tech?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a tough spot right now, right? Because technology companies, in many ways, have more power and influence on our lives than even governments. And yet we don't have the same kind of accountability structure that governments, conceptually do. And so I think one of the things you're going to see now over the next couple months or next year at least is either governments are going to regulate tech or tech has to regulate itself. Unfortunately, I don't think we've seen that level of responsibility yet from the tech sector.
How would a company say you're a tech CEO and we've dealt with this here in the U.S. too, it's not just Europe, where we've had hearings in Washington about it.
Well, remember Microsoft.
Right, to go back that far. But now, just in the present day, as we're looking at these things, if you're seeing it come at your company, to your point about regulating yourself, how do you step up and get out ahead of it? What are a few ideas?
So there's obviously a proactive and reactive side of this, right? I think the biggest challenge right now is when you look at how much the tech companies shape the content and information that we all consume as citizens. Obviously, that has a tremendous effect on our political environment, our social environment, et cetera. The challenge is there's no easy solution to just say, like, here's the rules and we go, because there's so much gray area. But I think having even a third-party group that's outside of the tech business with a set of rules, like any media company, like Fox or any group, has a set of clear guidelines, right?
Or like the business council in business.
That's right. The problem is it's a group of entrepreneurs trying to figure out what the right thing is for everybody else. And frankly, it's not fair to the founders to know all the answers, right? But it's also not fair to the society to expect no regulation or no support on that side.
But I just feel like that they continue to, these technology companies, particularly these social media companies, continue to overstep.
Yeah.
And at first it's, we rolled out the Facebook Live feature. We didn't know how people would abuse it, like with live suicides or violent crimes. But this past week, people on Facebook started getting this message about facial recognition.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw it.
I did.
Hi, we're working on making Facebook better. We're adding more ways to use facial recognition. You can find photos you're tagged in but haven't been tagged. And it said you can turn it on at any time. They said it was off, which applies to features we may add later. So they were acting like it was an opt-in. Mine was an opt-out.
Yes.
It's a huge, and I had to go in there and it was already on. And again, I just feel like that they act like that they're noble and doing no evil.
Yeah.
But they're not. But they're being reckless and they know what they're doing.
You're absolutely right. And then there's this whole pushback on any conservative ideas. Why is Peter Thiel leaving San Francisco and moving his whole business to LA? Because he says that there's constant pushback and inability and unwillingness to hear any other diversity of ideas. Look at YouTube. Moderators employed by YouTube to spot fake news and misleading and extreme videos. They say it was a mistake, but they removed numerous conservative content channels.
Yeah, look.
What's going on with tech?
It's not just conservative views. I think one of the challenges right now is that it's become such an echo chamber of all ideas. And so I think what you're going to start to see is some of the best tech minds moving out of just Silicon Valley. I mean, you're seeing New York already boom.
You came to New York.
I moved to New York. You're seeing Peter Thiel and others moving to LA. I think the more we start to see the proliferation of technology companies be outside of the one geographic area, it'll change, right? Because you have different perspectives, different views. I mean, we talked about this last month. When people in the Valley start to think that the biggest problem in the world, I think we talked about that $4,000 treadmill last time. It's just like, there's a disconnect with some of the reality challenges there, but you still want the best and brightest freedom to push the limits on innovation. So it's finding that right balance.
Okay, but on that question of whether social media companies have discriminated against conservative views, do you see that, or do you think this is an honest mistake, a drafting error on the algorithm?
Look, you have individual bad actors in the system. That's the challenge, right? I think as a company, no executive would condone that kind of behavior or allow that in advance, right? But like the Twitter, if you guys remember when the one rogue Twitter employee shut down President Trump's account, the challenge with this right now is that when it comes to major decisions, you need to operate fast and at scale to give people the autonomy to do that, but then you end up with these bad actors. And so I think as we start to see the regulation and the penalties for the bad acting, it'll force the companies to find kind of fail-safe for these kinds of issues.
It's a good analysis. Okay, tell us about your new business.